the United States is living through a paradox. The country that wanted to recover its industrial pride is now watching its factories shut down one by one under the weight of its own decisions. The policy that promised to rebuild manufacturing has ended up increasing costs, eroding competitiveness, and pushing investment north, into Canada. The question is no longer whether the protectionist model works, but how long it can survive before collapsing. It all began with a narrative that sounded flawless. Bring production back home, shut the door on foreign competition, and return jobs to American workers. It was a powerful message, emotional, politically profitable. But the economy doesn't respond to speeches, it responds to numbers. And numbers don't lie. Tariffs are suffocating the very industry they were meant to save. The most symbolic case is the Stellantis plant in Belvidere, Illinois. For months it was presented as a triumph of America First. A global company returning to produce inside the country, thousands of promised jobs, headlines celebrating the rebirth of the automotive industry. But when the real effects of the tariffs kicked in, the dream collapsed. Steel, aluminum, and Asian components became more expensive than ever. Production costs rose, profit margins sank, and the plant meant to symbolize recovery became an accounting problem. Meanwhile, across the border, Canada saw an opportunity. Ottawa's government understood that competition wasn't about building walls, but offering stability. While the United States improvised tariffs, Canada designed a long-term industrial policy. Instead of punishing companies, it decided to attract them. When Stellantis froze its operations in Brampton, the Canadian response was firm. Demand legal commitments be respected, but also offer an alternative. A job transition plan for tens of thousands of workers and a tax environment that guaranteed predictability for investors. The difference became clear immediately. In just 6 months, Canada transformed into the new epicenter of green automotive investment. Gigafactories, battery projects, research centers, and public-private cooperation agreements multiplied. While shifts were being cut in Illinois, engineers were being hired in Ontario. While Michigan argued about tariffs, Quebec signed multimillion-dollar contracts. It wasn't luck, it was strategy. Canada understood that in the 21st century economy, companies aren't looking for flags, they're looking for stability. Canadian governments coordinated efforts between provinces, unions, and corporations. They aligned incentives, simplified procedures, and created an environment where rules don't change every 4 years. That simple detail, stability, became their greatest competitive advantage. And there is another decisive factor: energy. While the United States faces electrical bottlenecks and endless debates over environmental permits, Canada guarantees stable industrial rates and a supply that is mostly renewable. For an industry that depends more on electricity than on oil, that difference is enormous. A factory needs predictability, not speeches. And Canada delivers it. In the United States, however, industrial policy has become an electoral battlefield. Every administration changes the rules. Every government cycle redefines incentives. And every job promise dissolves in new tariff wars. The result is an industry trapped between ideology and uncertainty. Manufacturers don't know what to expect, and workers pay the price. Protectionism, far from strengthening the American economy, has fractured it. Tariffs increase production costs, margins shrink, investments stall, and supply chains fall apart. What was supposed to bring stability ended up becoming a catalyst for chaos. And while Washington looks for external scapegoats, Canada collects the benefits. Today, the contrast is undeniable. Belvidere, once meant to be the emblem of industrial renaissance, operates far below its potential. Brampton, once considered doomed, is being rebuilt with massive electric vehicle investments. Layoffs in the South translate into new jobs in the North. And international investors have already chosen which side of the map feels like the future. What is happening is more than a commercial dispute. It is a clash of models. The United States is trying to force industrial revival through sanctions, tariffs, and political pressure. Canada is doing it with stability, cooperation, and foresight. One appeals to pride, the other to intelligence. And the market has already delivered its verdict. America's mistake has been confusing protection with competitiveness. A factory doesn't return because you force it to. It returns because it benefits from doing so. A company doesn't invest out of patriotism. It invests for profitability. And in that game, the math weighs more than the speeches. Canada offers what the United States has lost: continuity. Its governments move forward with long-term agreements, predictable energy, and industrial policies shielded from partisan swings. Executives know it well. A factory is not built for 4 years, it is built for 40. And no one risks billions in a country where an election can rewrite all the rules. While Washington promises stability, Ottawa delivers it. While one turns industrial policy into propaganda, the other turns it into state strategy. And that difference is reshaping the economic map of North America. Protectionism has proven to be a double-edged sword. It gives power to the politician, but weakens the producer. It speaks to the voter, but scares the investor. And although the White House insists the strategy is working, the facts say otherwise. Companies aren't returning, they are fleeing. The United States isn't losing jobs because others are beating it, but because it cannot adapt to the new world. Its factories aren't shutting down due to lack of talent, but due to lack of vision. And while it clings to a model from the past, Canada advances toward the electric future with a clear roadmap, sustained public investment, and real private cooperation. The great mistake has been believing tariffs can replace planning. Protectionism can buy time, but it cannot buy competitiveness. And every dollar spent on tariffs is a dollar not spent on innovation, wages, or modernizing infrastructure. If Washington doesn't redefine its strategy soon, the so-called industrial revival will remain just another empty slogan. Because industry is not built with speeches or barriers, but with clear rules, coordination, and long-term vision. And today, the one proving to have all of that is not the United States, it is Canada.